T cell and B cells is a very specific, it brings a very specific immune defense in our body. So just for reminder, these are the questions that might be answered going through this PowerPoint. Do all T cells get mature at the thymus? Answer is no. Where do we get this T cell get matured at thymus? How do they get selected? If the T gets that recognizes self as a self, then they get selected. Each T cell has to go through tests and several tests, and so let us understand how it happens. Prior to that, this process, further we also going to see that how the cell mediate T cells mediate to bring immune response. T cells are produced in a bone marrow as a knife, very immature, quite immature to function. These knife cells move to the thymus via circulatory system and get matured and tested. Its ability to recognize pathogens and the self body cells. So those detailed process will be explained through the diagrams or the flow charts. So these cells is being produced in the bone marrow, and this gets slowly transported via circulatory system along with the blood cells and come to the thymus, and it starts settling on the thymus. The thymic cells, epithelial cell, presents the MHC, major histocompatible proteins is being presented because this thymic cell has this protein on the surface, and T cell must recognize that. If the T cells recognizes and binds with strongly, then these T cells would get selected. Whereas if T cells that has entered to the thymus and the epithelials of the thymic cells presents the MHC protein, if it doesn't recognize, then these type of T cells would get discarded. So there is a first level of selection here. One which gets bind with the MHC protein would get selected. Next level, those selected will further get into the cortical region of the thymus, medullary region of the thymus. And here what happens is there is a dendritic cell present in the thymus, which will again will try to test these T cells by presenting them body cells to the T cell. If the T cells recognizes the body cell as a self or the body cell and does not bind with it, then such will get selected because it doesn't destroy. If it gets bind, it will destroy. But in case if the T cell recognizes that body cell as a non-self and attach to it and destroy it, then such T cells would be destroyed here. Therefore, only the one which does recognize the body cell as a self would get selected. And these T cells has got immature proteins on the surface called CD8 and CD4. These would become positive once it is being able to recognize the self as a self. Further, this one that has been tested twice get further moved to the medullary regions or the cortical regions, and the cell here, what happens is those thymus which can here the cell signal cause the self-tolerant thymus to express either the CD positive or the CD negative. The one that has those which express the CD4 positive would become T helper cells, and those which express the CD8 becomes T cytotoxic cells. Sorry. This is finally the mature T cells, how they react to the antigens. Antigen presenting cell brings the foreign particles, and the T cells CD8, which means cytotoxic T cells with CD8, comes and attached to the foreign particles, and these foreign particles, once get attached, it gets activated, and then a lot of clones are produced. Many CD8 cytotoxic cells, these cells, are being cloned and produced, and each will directly act on the foreign particles and destroy. Similarly, it also produces memory cells, which will be used for later part of, in case there is a secondary attack. There are two things that we need to keep in mind. The dendritic cells can also present present to the CD4 cells, CD4 T cells, T helper cells. CD4 that is being matured as a T helper cells would be now these will present antigens. This T helper cell will recognize if MS2 is present, then it will be recognized as a foreign particle. If it is recognized, then it releases cytokinins, which will again activate the T cells. The T cells will then recognize the MH1 of the cell that is being attacked by the pathogen. So these T cells, the CD8 cells, will activate when it comes combined with the infected cells, and they destroy along with the cells. T cell destroy the enzymes by releasing the granulozymes and proferins. Alright, now let's look at how the NK cells coordinates its attack along with the T cells. Let's to do this, let's watch a video. Let me just play this video.
These are, let's say, NK cells. Those cells' job is just to find out the diseased cell and kill it. Now they will be activated after releasing this interleukin, or after receiving the interleukin 2. So here we have a cell destructive method activated by T cell. We see that T cell is signaling macrophage to engage in more macrophage T cell interaction. So it is giving a positive signal to macrophage. It's providing positive signal to itself with the help of this autocrine signaling. And it also starts secreting some other. This interferon gamma acts on many other types of cells. They also secrete interleukin 4, interleukin 5. Some of that also act on B cells. Remember, there are also other type of cells present in our body known as.
Alright, that's all about the video. Hope you have noted down. There are certain proteins is being produced by the T cells to activate the NK cells. NK cells is encouraged to attack the infected pathogens as well as those infected cells. Before I end, I like to take you to this page. For the next class, we are going to study about the adaptive immune. Today we learn about the T cells. So next time we are going to learn about the B lymphocytes and the antibodies. We are going to look at explain how the B cell get matured as like a T cell, and also how B cell become tolerant and it develops. And we will also discuss how the B cell get activated and differentiate into plasma cells. And we are also going to look at the plasma cell produce a T cell, antibodies, which we are going to look at this structure and their functions. I would like you all to go through this, since we have already had this book with you. please go through the unit 2.4, read it a little bit before you come to the class. Thank you.